Okay, guys, we're almost done with the STAAR released exam. We're doing the last bit. Let's do 46 through 50, and then we'll have one more. The main thing you need to know for 46 is what is the definition of a function. And that means for every x, there's one and only one y. So when you look at this is a mapping thing that they have. You're looking at your test. Should have a calculator. That means every x has one and only one y. Okay, now if you look at h, we have two different y's here, which is -1. However, every x, 5, only has one y. 7 only has one y. So this is a function. It doesn't matter if the y's are the same. The x's have to be different. Now, this G is written as a set of ordered pairs, and if we notice, every x has only one y. On this one, if it wasn't a function, it would be something like this. 2, 3, comma, and then 2, 4. This would not be a function because 2 has a 3, but she also has a what? A 4. So basically, that can't be a function. So G is fine. So the one that's not a function is J. And the reason J is not a function is, and I didn't label this, but we have x right here as -3. Well, -3 is paired both to -2 and -3. So if I wrote these points down, and this is wrong here, I'll move that up. All right. So if I wrote down this point, that would be -3 goes to -2, and -3 also goes to what? -3. So basically, this is not a function because every x, we have one x here, -3, but they're paired with two different y's. So there's not one and only one y, there's actually two y's. And this happens 4 times on this one. The same thing happens with -2, with -1, and with 0. For example, 0 is paired to 3, and 0 is also paired to 4. So the one that's not a function is J. All right, just make sure you know this definition for the STAAR. All right, in this question they show the graph, and you have it in front of you, hopefully. Where is it? Where's mine? Okay. So basically they want to know, what does the x-intercept represent? So I guess what they want you to know is just, what is the x-intercept? The x-intercept occurs when y is 0. So this point here would be 20, 0. That's the x-intercept because my y is 0. So what happens at this? It means this is your hours. So it took 20 hours for the fuel to be at 0. And that's basically how you have to look at it. It's right in front of you. And I think the main thing they want you to know is, what does this mean? What does the x-intercept mean? Because if you know that, then it's basically an easy question. So the answer here is B. All right? Which statement is true? Here they just want you to know function notation. So we're going to try each one. Let's try f of -2 and see if it is equal to g of -3. So I plug in f of -2. I'm going to keep erasing, by the way. F of -2 equals -2 minus 5 squared plus 4. You can use a calculator. This is going to equal 29. And let's look g of -3. Because we want these two to equal, and that will be true. So we get -3 cubed plus 2. So -3 cubed is -27, plus 2 is -25. These two do not equal, so it's not true. So F doesn't work. Alright, so now I've got to try the second one, which should be easy. So the second one, f of 0 equals 0 minus 3 squared plus 4. This is going to be negative 3 squared is 9. Make sure you put this, when you put negative in the calculator, use parentheses, because that equals 9, not negative 9. So we get 9 plus 4 is 13. And when I do g of negative 1, I get negative 1. Use your parentheses on this. So this is going to be negative 1 plus 2, which equals 1. These two do not equal. Does not equal. So G is not correct. Okay, next one. Erase. All right, the next one, we have f of 8. So we get f of 8 equals 8 minus 3 squared plus 4. That's 5 squared plus 4 is 25 or 29, right? And now let's do g of 3 equals 3 cubed, plus 2. So that's 27 plus 2. That equals 29. Voila. They match. They equal. So my answer is H. So just make sure you know how to do function notation here. All right, 49. Which graph represents this inequality? Well, first of all, when I'm looking at it, and I hope you have it because I didn't write them all down. When I'm looking at this, I know it can't be A or D. It can't be A or D because those have dashed lines. Since this has an equal here, there, it means it's a solid line. Okay, so get rid of A and D. Now we're going to have to solve for y here. So we get 7y. I'm going to add 2x to both sides. So it's 2x plus 112, right? And then I'm going to divide everything by 7. So you get y is less than or equal to 2/7 x plus 16. All right. So I'm going to write it down here because I'm going to have to erase. And it's less than, so I'm going to erase. Now there's a way to do this in the calculator, but what you usually do, so it's, the graphs are the same, aren't they? Yeah, the graphs are the same. So our y-intercept is 16. We're going up to over 7. So about here. Down to over 7. So it's something like this. Just bear with me. It's solid because of this has an equal. If it didn't have an equal, it would be dashed. Now, this says less than. And if that says less than, what you do is you put your pen anywhere on this line. Anywhere. And you're going to, since it's less than, you draw down. Then that's the part you shade. Alright? Or you could just use a calculator. Let your Algebra 1 teacher can help you with that. Alright. So the answer is C. And 50 says if the value of y varies inversely with k. This means that's inversely. You need to know that. Is that on your formula sheet? I don't know. Anyway, if it said directly, this is inversely. Directly would be y equals kx. All right? This is what you're used to seeing with your y equals mx. Okay? So, k just means constant. Spelled with a K. How cute. All right, so basically, I'm not using this one. So I'm going to use the inversely one. And I plug in y, which is 48. and I plug in x, which is 3. I cross multiply, and I get 144 equals k. Then once you have that, you just plug it back into your equation. And that's your answer. So your answer would be F. And that's all. We have one more video. It's the last 4. Usually the last 4 on your STAAR exam are filler questions that they're going to test to see if they're going to use the following year. So it's important that you know these questions, but a lot of times, sometimes they're not good questions. So usually your filler questions are always the last ones. Thank you and have a nice day.